Hi, it's actually from AB Sound Advice. Today we're doing a product review of the Scansonic HD MB1B bookshelves. And you'll see here they're in walnut, and I mean they really are sensational. And as always, we'll just whiz through the specs first. If you haven't heard of Scansonic HD, they're a brand that is engineered and designed in Denmark, and they really have some amazing speakers, so I really think I can't wait to get into this. So let's just quickly go into the specifications. So the size of these is 178 by 312 by 286 millimeters, and they weigh in at 6.1 kgs. We're dealing with a frequency response of 45 Hz to 40 kHz. Impedance is 8 ohms and an 86 dB. Sensitivity, obviously at 86 dB, probably going to need a good quality amplifier. Anything, I think they recommend probably above 50 watts, and I'm pretty sure we'll get to that very shortly. So we've also got a crossover frequency of 26,000 Hz with minimum phase. We've also, the enclosure is a curved, heavily braced, vented box design with front loaded port, and we have a ribbon tweeter and a 5.25 mid/woofer, a black silk or white silk or walnut, and we have the walnut ones here today. And amplification, they do recommend a high quality amplifier, 50 watts and above, and I sort of guessed that because as soon as I saw the 86 and 85 dB, anything under the 90s, you're certainly going to need an amplifier that's got a little bit of grunt to it to get the full get the best out of these speakers, or any speaker actually at those ratings. So in this part of the world, they're around the 4K mark for a pair. So first off, let's just take a look. You'll notice too, there is no grills on here because they don't come with grills. And to be honest with you, I guess with a speaker designed like this, you really wouldn't want to hide it. So I'm just gonna, we'll just come around the back and give you a look at the back, and you can see there, I mean, just absolutely sensational build quality. And even as we come up and you look at the top there, it's like a carbon fibre finish that you can see there. And we'll come round, we'll also come over the other side so you can get a different perspective and view of the speakers, and they truly look sensational. Very, very nice speakers. And to be honest with you, these MB1Bs, you would have heard, even I got excited in the unboxing video, I thought the B standard for black. In reality, no, that didn't mean that at all. It was actually the part number, but they'd spaced the B a little bit away from the MB1, so it is actually an MB1B. And then of course they come in those three colours, and I think the walnut combination with, it's a very unusual finish, doing the walnut with that carbon fibre at the top and the black at the front. I love front ports, and now we're going to have to get to the great part of this. Of course, I've done the product spotlight, which you would have heard. The sound of these are truly sensational, and I think when you think they're around the 4K mark, are they providing a $4,000 sound? Yes, they are. And again, as I do these reviews, I slowly share with you guys some of my past, of what I've done in the past. And a lot of my jobs over my career was to listen to products and advise what I felt the price would be that somebody would pay for something. And I've been doing that for a very, very long time. And even in the early 80s, I was asked to sit into cars and pass feedback on what we could do to make a car sound better. And, whether it be treatments or, sound wadding and all this sort of stuff. And all these years later, I still love grabbing new products, having a listen, looking at what things are worth, and remembering too that when we are doing these, dollars spent to sound produced, we are dealing in the New Zealand Australian market. So we do have to factor in exchange rates and couriers and GST and all the rest of it. So if you are finding that some of these products that I review sound a little dearer in our part of the world, a lot of that is just our customs, GST, freight, all the rest of the stuff that's, unfortunately, it's the distance they have to travel. And even today, that's even changed even more dramatically. Sometimes the freight's worth more than the actual product. So certainly makes it very difficult, doesn't it? So I think from a sound perspective, let's just move back to the product. from a sound perspective, as you know, I love ribbon tweeters. They just have a uniqueness about them, and these again are very natural. And as I've mentioned before, I don't rate things 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, and I don't even go into hi-fi, stereo, high fidelity, audiophile. Where does it all sit? I mean, and I would have to say here, we truly have a audiophile high fidelity speaker that's totally enjoyable. It's got a beautiful punch to it. It's hard to believe how much punch there is to this, considering we are dealing with a 5.25 driver, and that's not exactly a very big driver, and it would be giving some 6-inch speakers a serious run for their money. It's very detailed, it's very enjoyable, it's engaging. I mean, there are a pair of speakers that you can very easily spend hours listening to, and musically, they really are sensational. Now, as I've mentioned before, how I do rate things, would I own a pair of these? Most definitely. And as you can imagine, that extends the amount of stuff that I have, and I have owned a lot of products over my life. And these, they just tick all the boxes off. They look great, they sound great, they're very detailed, they're enjoyable, they're not harsh. I believe they're a warm speaker with a nice punch to them. And if you like a speaker that's got a bit of detail and the voices are clear and enjoyable and smooth, and you like a bit of kick, it definitely has that. Now, when I say a kick, I mean, we're not talking like a 12-inch woofer type kick. I'm saying that when we're dealing with a 5.2-inch driver, it is punching way above its weight. So it's giving a 6.5-inch driver a serious run for its money, and you don't have to have an enclosure to that size. So again, if you're looking for a nice finish and you want something a little different, and here we are running a blue, or that's a little new unit that's not even out yet. It's the new blue one. So if you're wondering what that is in the background, we've been using that for the last few reviews. It's a great little amplifier coming out of the UK, and I think they're about $11.99 in this part of the world. So we're driving these off effectively a $1,200 amplifier, and through the CD, they're absolutely sensational. So you certainly don't need to go out and spend a lot on an amp for these. Of course, if you want to do that, it'll do that as well, but they really are a sensational sounding speaker. They look great. You wouldn't be disappointed. And as I said, if we go back, I know we're looking at the visuals. It's a very unusual speaker to have that carbon fibre top, the black front, the walnut wrapped round like that, and the wood's been shaped. I mean, just in its visual experience, visual perspective, why wouldn't you want a pair? And of course, you're not sacrificing sound to get a look. I mean, really, the look and the sound combined, they're a serious speaker, and you would not be disappointed. And something like this would last you a lifetime. So you can play your vinyl or CDs, television, whatever you want to run through it. And if you've got a little amp like this, and you feel you need a bit of extra bass, you can drop a little sub on the floor. But all in all, just by themselves, in the right environment, they really are a fantastic pair of speakers. So I hope you've enjoyed today's product review of the Scansonic MB1Bs and Walnut. And I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on AB Sound Advice.